Ladies and gentlemen, there is no denying there's a lot going on within the Gala Games ecosystem, and I haven't really made a dedicated video talking about my thoughts in regards to the ecosystem as a whole. As I understand, there's a lawsuit currently going on. We're, September 10th, 2023, and as the most viewed Gala Games content creator, I think, to say the least, you'd probably deserve a video of me just talking about my thoughts in regards to Gala Games. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy this kind of content, and let's get right into it. Now, I want to start off this video by just kind of going over what people are freaking out about right now. And the thing that people are freaking out about right now is price action. At the end of the day, when something bad happens, usually speaking, a lot of bad news usually transpires, which isn't usually a good thing for price action. Ultimately, though, I don't know if this is a newsflash to a lot of people on this channel, but we don't focus on the price action of the token for this ecosystem. In fact, I personally feel that the token is important, right? It's going to be used as gas on Gyri, which is now called Gala Chain, and that's going to be coming out sometime relatively soon to everybody in the public. I mean, you could use it on Spider Tanks right now, you could use it on Champions Arena, but to say the least, it's still a little bit clunky in nature and not the easiest to explore. However, in terms of this token, a lot of people are invested into this thing because most of Web3 didn't really have games back in the day. All they had was tokens to speculate on and hope that something good would end up happening from it. And this was actually one of the big reasons why I ended up abandoning this channel in the first place back in 2021, after I had exposed the Axie Infinity developers for a faulty economy. You know, looking back at this situation, I've kind of come to the point where I've accepted, right? I think forgiveness is kind of necessary here. They were a little bit over their heads. I mean, I don't think people expect that much level of growth in that short period of time. And I kind of feel like the same example you could use with Axie is the same example that could be used with Gala, as Gala had hit some absurd market cap with a ton of different resources that they could use in their disposal. And yet here we are today, where it's kind of shifted a little bit. Gala is still, of course, a giant in the Web3 gaming space, but the space has shrunk, to say the least. I mean, crypto isn't looking like how it looked like in the bull market of 2021. So what's going on here? And the thing that I think is going on here is I think some people are just moving on from cryptocurrency. I think that some people don't like it when their tokens continuously go down over time. And here's what I have to say about this all. These are the best months that Gala Games has ever had as a company, and at the same time, the worst months that Gala Games has ever had as a company. Because, of course, their founders are going after each other. That's never good news. Nobody ever likes that. Inevitably, this lawsuit is going to take a very long time to settle. If there's anything I know about lawsuits, which is not much, I have fundamental understanding of what it means to be in a lawsuit or something being in a part of a lawsuit. It takes a long time to settle, is what I've gathered, especially when companies and, shareholders are having disagreements, etc., etc. So whatever's happening right now, realistically speaking, is not going to matter in a year or two when all this ends up coming out. And Gala as a company is still very large. I mean, they've got a heck of a lot of employees. They've got a heck of a lot of development. And we're at this period in Gala where some of their games are really big successes. I mean, Champions Arena right now is in their first phase of marketing, and they're just testing it out. They have over 100,000 downloads. In fact, the most successful game that I've ever covered on my channel, and this is by far, this is not even close, has been Champions Arena. I've been playing Champions Arena quite a bit. If you've played Champions Arena and you see me at level 33, you know I have played quite a bit of this game. I mean, I'm obsessed with everything about Champions Arena. We have a Hydra estate that has a bunch of other sister guilds. We have Hydra Pathos, we have Hydra Eros, Hydra Logos, Hydra Dynamis, Hydra Chaos, a bunch of different Hydras. Of course, our main Hydra as well, where we work to bring the top talent for the game. And this is because I've played games like this before. I played games like Summoner's War, where they also had guild systems, and they also were very similar turn-based strategy games. I understand how this genre operates. And Gala is doing an exceptional job. Well, I guess Gala and One Universe, because One Universe is developing this game, Gala is publishing this game. They're both doing excellent jobs. When I had originally looked at this game, there were a million different typos all over the place, and it was a complete mess, but they had very quickly corrected everything. It looks incredible. The game plays very well, and I mean, it's fluid. It's a fluid game. Some people will say, okay, but Classy, just because it's a game now doesn't mean that it's cool, right? It's just a game. Just flexing that a Web3 game is a game is not really that much of a victory. And you're right. You are right in that regard. And here's the thing about how Gala Games is doing things that is different from other Web3 gaming ecosystems. When you go to their Twitter, they're not focusing in on their blockchain. Their blockchain's cool. I mean, I understand that Gala Chain is going to be a big deal. I use Gala Chain all of the time for my assets and NFTs within the Gala ecosystem. But ultimately, their focus is 150 million% on the games. The token holders, while I understand that, you guys need to meet your quotas and, you're like a mini VCs where you need to profit, and understandably so. I wouldn't like to lose money either. But the way Gala is doing this and the vision that Gala has employed is not to make your token go crazy. The entire vision is to build great games and then have tokenization as a part of this process, making the blockchain as something that is an additive, something that is a surplus, not something that should be kind of pushing back down this ecosystem. If you have noticed, just because the price of the token has gone down doesn't necessarily mean that the marketing for these games has slowed down at all. In fact, Gala's Champions Arena has only become more and more of a dominant force in the space. We're not only seeing this with Gala, though, we're seeing it with many different cryptocurrency companies, where right now is that critical moment where a bunch of different games are coming out and a lot of awesome news is happening in a very, very short period of time. We're seeing it with Gala Games all the time. I mean, I've got leaks galore all over my Twitter right now, and I think this is going to be one of those scenarios where the token holders, of course, they're going to be frustrated for quite some time, but the people that are just loving this ecosystem, that are just having fun playing crypto games and enjoy the idea of maybe getting a percentage of player revenue with NFTs, or maybe they just want to go ahead and participate in something that has easier access of trading, or even the opportunity to trade, because many of these games don't have the opportunity to trade. A lot of people will be going off on people for selling accounts and all this kind of stuff, but if you're playing Summoner's War, the only way to actually monetize your account is by selling your account. That's the only way, versus something like Champions Arena, where you can go ahead as a player and trade on a peer-to-peer marketplace. Sometimes it's a lot more simple than people make it out to be. I feel like Web3 is just that step above that every Web2 game, every regular traditional game is needed. I mean, imagine League of Legends, but you can actually trade your skins peer-to-peer. I just don't understand why it isn't a thing in the first place. Some will argue because they'll earn less revenue doing it, but trust me when I say it, Axie Infinity, they made a metric ton of revenue in a very short period of time when their game was millions of players active. I mean, they had a ton of people trading on there. I remember seeing $40 million as just a starting point. They took 4.5% of that. 4.5% of $40 million every single day for months on end. They absolutely killed it. And that is just an Axie Infinity-esque game. Axie Infinity is not the biggest game on the planet. It is nowhere near the biggest game on the planet. So, when games like this, like Champions Arena, come out, and here's the thing, when we're thinking about Gala, a majority of Gala games will likely not get a metric ton of users, because the way gaming ecosystems work is they put their bets in a bunch of different little baskets and they hope that some of them end up hitting and then they end up becoming profitable as a company. That's usually speaking how all this whole operation works. And it makes sense, right? There's so many different games coming out in so little time that you have to make sure that you attract good talent to make sure that you get success stories. As Champions Arena has developed, I already see Champions Arena as a success where it is today. It's likely going to get millions of downloads at some point, and it's not going to take that long to get to that point. Likely, if they're just starting with marketing, they're already at 100,000. It's good metrics there. But, Champions Arena is only the beginning. It's a testing ground for how all of this is going to function. And so whenever I get, people in my comment section talking about, okay, but Classy, let's focus on this other thing. Maybe we can talk about a token or something. I always go back to the same point. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is games. I know that this is cliche as day, that people are like, oh, but the fun is number one resource. And the truth is, yes, fun is the only thing that matters in gaming. You need to have fun playing your games. I don't care what blockchain component it has on it. It needs to be fun for people to end up playing it. Retention is a big problem in crypto games. Sure, it's hard to play a crypto game, but sometimes it's even hard to enjoy a crypto game. So you need to make sure that you put fun first, and that you put this whole earnings thing secondary. It should be secondary. Most people do not care about earnings, but that's not a bad thing at all, because there are people that do care about earnings, which I'm sure a lot of you care about earnings in the comments section, because a lot of crypto early on was earnings based, including myself. I mean, I played Axie Infinity for the earnings 300%. That's exactly what I did. Of course, it's kind of molded over time and become a lot more of a traditional gaming surplus additive. That's what Web3 gaming is. That's what crypto gaming is. That is what play to earn NFT gaming is. It is just that step up from Web3 gaming that is awesome. And I mean, as it stands, Gala is absolutely killing it. I don't care if there's 53 different lawsuits happening in a 2-month time span. Gala Games is killing it. They are a titan in the crypto gaming space. And I would go as far as to say that they will still stay as a titan in the gaming space for the long run. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I think it's important for people to understand that I'm still 100% on this. I don't care where this little token goes. This gaming ecosystem is fun as hell. And as long as it's fun as hell to play Spider Tanks, and to play Champions Arena, and to play Last Expedition, and to play The Walking Dead Empires, and to play Echoes of Empire, and to play Eternal Paradox, you get what I mean, right? To play a ton of different games, as long as it's fun to cover it and to play it, I will sure as hell be playing Gala games and covering it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And you know what? If you're going to be buying on the Gala Game store, feel free to go ahead and use our affiliate links. We're filling in that void. Until the next time, stay classy, and that's all.